Welcome to the first meeting of 2019. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Anishinaabe territory of Treaty 2, land known as First Nations territory, as well as the homeland of the Métis Nation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Laughlin.
Just a little down.
Yeah.
No, probably.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Dr. Laughlin?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's correct.
Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. There's a deletion 9E, the teen at risk, Dauphin at risk teens, the request for funding is deleted. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Regal, and seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular agenda as amended. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the reading be waived and that council accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, the regular council meeting minutes of December 10th, 2018. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. I think it's moved by Dr. Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the presentation by the fire chief of the Dauphin Fire Department. Fire Chief Avery.
It's warm in here.
Thank
It's really late
goodness.
on here.
We're
Good evening and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
So you're all in receipt of the memo that I've done up. The first report to council for the 2019 calendar year is just a review and summary of 2018, but I can review that for our public. The final amount of emergency response attended to by the members of Dauphin Fire Department totaled 229 incidents. That's our third busiest year on record. It's a decrease from last year of 231, so not a huge drop. We were forecasting that we were going to be busier given the spring that we had, where we had 39 calls in the month of May. It broke down into 187 city response, totaling 5,450 hours, and 38 rural response of 2,387 and a half hours. So even though the RM calls were only 17% of our total volume, there was 31% of our total hours spent in the RM. We had 5 mutual aid response, and there may be a typo in yours that I noticed this morning, and I corrected in mine, but between the mutual aid response in the upper portion and the lower portion there, so it's been corrected in my document. I think you have 5 and 4. Numbers are hard for me. So. A further breakdown gave us 65 calls that were false alarms, or if you see on page 2, 28% of our total volume. Motor vehicle collisions, we had 50, which is 22% of our call volume. Outdoor fires, which include the grass fires, brush fires, dumpster fires, etc. We had 32 of those, 23 of them were in the RM. So we did have some within the city of Dauphin. That would be our dumpster fires, and there was a couple of grass fires as well. Kitchen fires, 29. So it looks like we have to give 13% of our call volume, those individuals possibly some cooking lessons, because the kitchen fires we classify as somebody has burned something either on the stovetop or in the oven. It's activated an alarm system, and the alarm is still functioning for what it was designed for, is detecting that smoke, so we don't rack that up to a false alarm, we keep it separated. We had 20 structure fires in 2018, 7 of which were in the RM and 13 of them within the city limits. And then our other category, which includes the EMS lift assist, hazardous materials calls, rescue, either water or rope rescue, whatever it may be. It's the technical side of things. We had 14 of those, 7 vehicle fires, 7 carbon monoxide alarms, and again, 5 mutual aid assists, and all of them were to the arm of Lakeshore to Oka River. Page 2 gives you a breakdown, just in the pie chart there, of the percentages where we fall, so that we can get a grasp on where the majority of our calls lay. So the majority, again, 28% false alarms, and then followed by 22% for our motor vehicle collisions, make up 50% of all of our call volume in those 2 incidents. Any question on our incidents for 2018 at all? Yes.
For the false alarms, is that a normal thing where you have like 28%? And I guess further to that, is that sort of like, 12 for one place, or is it a smattering of calls all over the place?
It would be a smattering all over the place. Our bylaw allows each physical location or physical address 2 free false alarms before it gets into the false alarm bylaw for billing, which allows the property managers or property owners time to get somebody out here to service the system. Unfortunately, a lot of the technicians that are responsible for fire alarm systems aren't located within Dauphin, and they have to schedule their trips out here from either Winnipeg or Brandon. And we haven't had a lot of charges under the false alarm bylaw, but we do have some larger facilities that are known for their false alarms. We had one several years ago that was invoiced over $8,000, I believe, for false alarms, which they've rectified that system, and I don't know if they even got one invoice last year or not for false alarms. So the bylaw has worked in order to address people getting their systems fixed, where in the past they just kind of left it alone and we kept responding over and over and over again. Yes?
I wanted to ask about the motor vehicle collisions. How many were those in the city? And
We classify all motor vehicle collisions within the city of Dauphin because of the reporting system with Manitoba Public Insurance. So even if it does happen on a municipal grid road, there is a claim that can be processed with Manitoba Public Insurance. And rather than separating them into RM versus city, we classify it all as city because the reimbursement is then handled through the city budget rather than dividing it between the 2 budgets. And not every claim filed is returned successfully. Some of them are denied, whereas people don't have proper insurance, or there was something illegal, impaired driving that may have been involved. So insurance is rejected. Yes?
Fire Chief, I just want a comment and a question. This summer, we've had a number of fires in close proximity to this to the center of town, and I just wanted to commend the fire department for the quick response to all those fires. One fire in particular could have led to 3 homes going up. The quick response time of your fire department saved the second house and definitely the third house. So, but I just wanted to know, Fire Chief, what the average response time is from a time a call comes in till the time the fire department gets to, do you track those?
We do, and the average is 7 minutes. It's between 7 to 10, but majority being 7 minutes and some odd seconds of the page received and first truck rolling out the door. So for a fire department that is non-career or part-time, and everybody else has their other jobs and their lives that are occurring, for that 7-minute response time is well within the standards that are written by NFPA for rural response departments.
again, I just want to commend your fire department for keeping us all safe, and especially our neighbor at the last summer. It was just, seemed to be a particularly bad summer there, but thank you again for
Thank
all
you.
the work.
I'll pass the message along.
Just, Fire Chief Avery, further to Councillor Eiler's question on motor vehicles. Do you have statistics on the South Main, like where the service road should be? Like going-
For incidents that occur on Main Street South,
Yeah,
yeah, we can go back through our records, I don't have them tonight, and break it down just as we did for First and Main here on the south side of the tracks. We do track where our incidents are happening, and all of that information was provided to the city and to Manitoba Infrastructure prior to the lights going in here. Recording this is our second busiest intersection for response. Since those lights have been installed, I think we've had 2 incidents there in totality.
well, we're wanting to we're lobbying the infrastructure for the service road along from Co-op Service Station to.
Okay. Absolutely, we can put those stats together.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
All right, we move on to training. So in February of 2018, I've mentioned it before, but I just want to revisit it. We had a public information session on recruitment of new members at the fire station. The classroom portion detailed all of the responsibilities and our expectations of the members of the Dauphin Fire Department. We allowed everybody that was in attendance the chance and the opportunity to try on the turnout gear and the SCBA. We ran them through a 5-minute boot camp as to how much everything weighed. If anybody wanted to take part in some of the skills, we showed them what they were, demonstrated them for them. And out of the 12 people that attended that evening, we have 6 of those that are now members of the fire department that are currently taking their level 1. So the 50% return on the people that came out that night, I consider a huge success. And rather than people joining the department and finding out a month or 2 down the road that it's not for them, the informational session and the hands-on portion, I think, helped alleviate that, where we had people join up and then resign immediately. So we plan on doing another recruitment drive this spring to try and bolster our numbers. I've mentioned again in the past that we've lost members to the RCMP and career changes and career location changes, so we want to get our numbers back up there again. Also in 2018, I'd like to congratulate Fabian Carrier, Mitchell Canton, Devin Pilichuk, and Ryland Cyril for completing their level 1 firefighter credentials, where they passed the practical and the written exam portions of that and have attained their accreditation, as well as Greg Acevedo, Justin Barszewski, Aaron Dieterle, Conrad Demray, and Benny Greening, who completed their level 2 qualifications. Those that were involved in the firefighter level 1 and level 2, both the firefighters and their instructors, committed many hours each Thursday evening and the odd weekend in order to prepare for the practical and written exams for certification. I'd like to thank them for that. There were also many weekends many members gave up in order to advance their training for standard first aid, hazardous materials operations, vehicle extrication, pump operations, and a variety of other seminars through the Manitoba Emergency Services College. And this past September, it was September 6th, that we started a new class for the 2018-19 Level 1, Level 2 firefighter class. We have 11 working on their Level 1, 6 working towards their Level 2, with a practical exam date scheduled for May of 2019. Any questions on our training initiatives at all?
One question, that when a firefighter has, prior to level 1, what is their classification as a firefighter for the fire department?
When somebody comes to our department with 0 training altogether, they're a firefighter recruit. We have had members come to our department that have completed their level 1, level 2 in a previous life, whether it's with another fire department or whether they're here working as a full-time paramedic and they've completed the programming through either Vermilion College out in Alberta or through the Manitoba Emergency Services College in Brandon. And if they do come in with their classification as level 1 or level 2, we move them to a probationary firefighter for a 1-year period, where we do our driver training with them, and getting them in line with our guidelines and policies. And then after their 1-year grace period, then they're moved into a Class 3 firefighter. So, once a recruit firefighter attains their level 1, they move to that probationary for a 1-year period as well. And the level 1 is approximately 220 hours of training that each one has to put into it. And then the level 2 is another 60 plus additional hours on top of that as well. Just for information, again, mentioning that 2018 was our 3rd busiest on record. 2011 blew us away with 260 incidents, and then that should read 2018. But 2018 with the 2017, 231 incidents, and 2018 was 229. So, in addition to the hours of emergency response, members of Dauphin Fire Department contributed 318 days of standby. Our weekend standby runs the May long weekend and then takes a break and continues the second last weekend of June straight through to the September long weekend. That allows us to have a minimum number of firefighters available to respond on weekends during peak holiday periods when people want to go camping and travel and visit family and such. There was also 3,282 hours of training on the Wednesday evenings. That's over and above the Thursdays that they did. Continuing our partnerships and relations with our mutual aid partners, the surrounding fire departments that make up the Riding Mountain Mutual Aid District. We've also opened our level 1, level 2 firefighter training to those departments. We have 3 members from Sifton, 1 from Grandview, 2 from Gilbert Plains, 1 from St. Rose, and 1 from Laurier that are attending on the Thursday nights to take part in the training with us. Our recommendation regarding the packages returned under the RFP, or request for proposal to replace our existing rescue, was approved in December, and I thank you again for that. Awarded to Fort Garry Fire Trucks of Winnipeg, and we continue to work very closely with them, including today via telephone, and expect to have a delivery date of late 2019. And just before Christmas, we had hosted an open house for our administration and elected officials, and those that were able to attend, I thank you, and for those that were unable to attend, you know that our door is always open, and maybe next time we can do what we did with our public information session, throw some turnout gear on and show you some of our Firefighter 1 basic training as well. So, any questions at all? Yes?
You are training neighborhood fire departments. Is there anything that they contribute to the instructor, or
Their time,
that's it?
yeah.
Okay.
We want to ensure that our neighboring fire departments, should they respond with us mutual aid or us respond to them mutual aid, that we have the same level of training. So they are taking their time and their mileage, and they're coming out and taking part in our training just the same as our members are. So,
Thank you for the wonderful work that you and your department do.
thank you.
Deputy Mayor Bellemare.
Yes, I understand that you guys won't be on the roof fundraising this year.
No, we are taking a break from the MD rooftop campout, and we did have the calendars for sale. We actually sold out this past weekend. So I'm not sure if the association is planning a second run or not, but we are approaching the end of January, and I'm not sure how many people would still want to buy calendars given February 1st this year, and especially January, if you flip to that picture is a very handsome dog in there and its owner, so autographs are available.
Just take
Oh,
one
good.
off.
Paw
That's
prints.
what I was going to just.
Paw prints are available if I brought her down.
I got our pen and pencil here for you. So before you leave, please.
Oh,
sign it.
certainly.
Deputy Mayor
Yeah,
Bellemare,
sure, I'll get
and
mine.
her, because I bought it on Saturday, and people that were sending them autographed their picture.
Oh, okay, all right, we can look after that.
It's great to see the contribution or the people willing to train. It's so, and especially in a volunteer fire department, and I think it's not only improves their skills, but it calms the fears of our taxpayers, that it's a well-trained, well-run fire department. Congratulate them on behalf of our mayor and council, and I think and also for the fire chief for encouraging training. 3,000, whatever it was, hours on Wednesday night. It's important that the skills remain sharp and current, and it certainly reduces the fear of our taxpayers.
I will pass the message along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before you go, if there are any questions, do I got a pencil? Got a autograph, my picture? Don't write on a dog.
Don't write on the dog, that's the best part of the picture, right?
And the last page.
And the last one.
Yeah.
Now, that marker's gonna carry over, you know that?
You're on there.
Oh, yes.
Someday it'll be worth $21.
$21.
Do you have any more left for?
I was told that they sold out on Saturday.
Yes, they're at the co-op,
Oh, okay.
at a table there. Just have to walk in and-
Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Fire Chief
I
Avery.
need an autograph.
Here's
Not hard to
$25.
say you're coming for
Yeah,
a
the
Thursday.
price just went up. Put it on eBay.
Yeah, it's
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councilor Eilers, be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. The outstanding water accounts totaling $502.62. Very 21 Ida Street, 326 3rd Avenue Northeast, 102 7th Avenue Southeast, and 129 2nd Avenue Southwest. And outstanding accounts receivable added to taxes. That's mainly unused. Our new bylaw officer has been very active in unused vehicles. A total of $2,342.36 on unused vehicles for Kirby, 39 King, 239 4th Avenue Southwest, 246 Boston's Avenue, 222 4th Avenue Northeast, 224 Kirby Avenue West, 35 4th Avenue Southeast, 22 8th Avenue Northeast, 11 Jackson, 118 4th Avenue Southwest, 603 Dorothy, 615 Main Street North, 27 Kirby Avenue West, 33 Ash, and 237 5th Avenue Northeast, and 26 9th Avenue Southwest. So hopefully these vehicles will be removed eventually, or they'll be ticketed again, as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Tax Clerk. The filing items from the AMM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Mountain View School Division, Dauphin Friendship Center, Prairie Mountain Health, Stats Canada, Provincial Municipal Support Services, changes to the accessibility for Manitobans Act, news releases of online courses to prepare youth for entering the job market, multi-material stewardship Manitoba 2019 municipal payments, Manitoba Intergovernmental Affairs gas tax fund allocations, Public Utilities Board, Central Gas 2019/20 general rate applications, the Manitoba Municipal Relations Premier Volunteer Service Award for 2019. Manitoba Ombudsman, Privacy Breach Resources, Manitoba Infrastructure, Highway Traffic Board Permit for right side, and the Manitoba Electoral Divisions Boundary Commission, its news release of December 14th, and the final report as recommended by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Bellmer.
Just first, a really quick comment under the multi-material stewardship Manitoba. I see that Dauphinites were successful in recycling 600 tons of material. That was the amount in the letter, and so job well done. And that resulted in us getting $153,000 worth of funds. So that's why we recycle. So that's really nice to have that come into the kitty. And a question, with regard to the unused vehicles that we saw, that there were 18 of them, and I noticed that the amounts that people are fined are different, and I'm thinking that has to do that it was part of the year that they were, okay, and then 18 because that was our first year last year, so there was a bigger number as people were learning about this bylaw. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Just on the Highway Traffic Board for information, the right side in their south end, they're applied for access off the service road. And for people that are attending Highway Traffic Board hearings, make sure and attend them. Because according to Don Terrence of Right Side, he went, and also City Council supported his application, but people that never came to the hearing in Brandon were deferred. So it's important, even for our variance applications, that people attend the hearings. And also the electoral boundaries, we have a new area for the Dauphin constituency, and it's called Dauphin. And it goes up to Valley River Reserve, over to Winnipegosis, down in as far as McCreary. And I think it best reflects the trading patterns and the social patterns of this area, and very happy with the way the Boundary Commission listened, and also should reflect the common interest of the whole region. All in favor? Any questions? Other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. It shouldn't be writing with this one. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for January 14th, regular council meeting, and that of the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the mayor said, welcome to the first meeting of 2019. It's been just over a month since our last meeting, but with a couple weeks or so lost to the wonderful vacation around Christmas and New Year's. It's been a relatively smooth month since we last met. A few things that we have been up to. In my role, transitioning from deputy city manager to city manager, I have been attending for the last time a few committee meetings, and the Communities in Bloom Committee is one that I will miss, because I know that I appreciate the work that Communities in Bloom does in our community, so hopefully I can maybe still whisper in people's ears from time to time. But I did attend that meeting on December 13th, and we talked about the 2019 budget and projects that we are looking at doing, as well as a tree inventory that was started by provincial staff in the summer of 2018, and we talked about the 2019 Dutch elm disease tree removal program. And those trees should be starting to come down in January. I did not get notice that our contractor is in town yet, but we were told that by mid-January. Have you seen them yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Next one was the MRI grand opening. So it was wonderful to finally see that project come to fruition. And I have to admit, I was at the hospital for other reasons the week before, and I heard a lady say, "Hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm here to take you for your MRI." So I did hear that it was up and running before the actual grand opening, so that was great. And the importance of it was really reinforced by the presence of the Premier, Brian Pallister, and the Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living, Cameron Friesen, as long as many other provincial and local healthcare representatives and municipal representatives. I can't remember the number offhand, but they said over 3,000 tests will occur at the facility every year. That's going to take a lot of stress off of other MRIs in the province, and I like that it's north of the Trans-Canada. On December 19th, Councillor Regal and I attended an inaugural meeting, or the inaugural meeting, of a yet unnamed committee dedicated to reducing poverty in Dauphin and the Parkland, with the intent to reduce homelessness, crime, addiction, abuse, and other related social issues. Around the table for that first meeting anyways were representatives from the City of Dauphin, Prairie Mountain Health, Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal, Echo Housing, and the Dauphin District Food Bank, as well as others who are personally interested in the initiative. This group is at its infancy. I think that might have been the birth of it, so it's really hard to talk about focus and direction and outcomes yet. I think those are going to be dealt with in the coming meetings, and we do have another meeting this week. But the city has had some discussions of what our role will be, and we have so far committed to hosting the meetings here, supporting the concept in its entirety. And the city's identified priorities are housing and crime reduction and safe communities. Councillor Regal, Deputy City Manager, and I were among the group from the city who was able to attend the open house at the fire hall, and that was great to see such a wonderful facility. And it is always, I feel like you can eat off the floor in the shop. It's fantastic how clean it is and how well maintained everything is. So it was great to see the inner workings of our fire hall. And as Fire Chief Avery said, hop on down anytime and take a look, because it really is a great facility. I attended the Dauphin Regional Airport Authority Board meeting on December 20th as the accountable executive. And at these are quarterly meetings, and we talked about routine items like financial reports and airport managers' reports and things like that. But one of the biggest things that we talked about was regularly scheduled air passenger service. So currently there is, and I've okayed this with the company, that we can talk about this a little bit. There's a private company based in Swan River that is seriously exploring regularly scheduled air passenger service between Swan River and Winnipeg, with a stop in Dauphin. While these talks are beyond the preliminary stage, the details are not entirely available for the public because they are being worked out. However, the board, along with the arm of the city, are working with this company regarding the details of how we can make this work for Dauphin Airport. So that is very exciting. Our recycling, speaking of recycling earlier, Deputy Mayor Bellemare, our OSS, this recycling provider has moved locations. As of January 1st, they are now located in the industrial park. They used to be behind Norwex. So for all intents and purposes, the collection will remain the same and the depot will remain the same. Just anything that people dropped off at their site, like e-waste, will now be in the industrial park. And they are at the corner of Industrial Park Road and Market Another one of those committees that I'm transitioning off of, but did attend to hand the baton as well as give a little bit of history, is the Property Standards Task Force Committee. And it's very apparent that the new bylaw enforcement officer has a good handle on the various properties that need to be dealt with in the coming weeks, months, and some of them years. And she will be systematically dealing with them on a priority basis. While the task is not easy, the solutions will not be quick. She has made some progress to date and has plans for many of them. On January 9th, along with the mayor, I attended a presentation regarding the 2020 Manitoba Summer Games powered by Manitoba Hydro. It was the official signing of the multi-party agreement. And this is an agreement that outlines the roles and responsibilities of the three parties that will work together to host the games: Sport Manitoba, the host committee, and the host municipality, which is the city of Dauphin. The co-chairs of the host committee, Clayton Swanton and Carla Wolfenden, attended, and as they said, this makes the games one step closer to reality. So we do look forward to hosting those games here and having them be a great success. I think I've been talking about development agreements for several months in a row now, but we do have one of those agreements for signatures authority to sign at this meeting, so that is great, and we are approaching that point with the second one. So these are huge, massive documents that we work towards, so that both the city, the developer, and any other parties are the details of what they need to do to have a successful development in their eyes and ours is covered off in this agreement. So we're happy that we're close to that. And I will end with, provided everybody a little picture of the Regal Celebration Maple Tree sign, which is in Vermilion Park, is up. And it's located at the east end of the access road or the camping area, and it's beside those 5 new maple trees that were gifted by the Lieutenant Governor in 2017. It's Canada's 150th. So I think that's right along the walking trail as well, so people will hopefully be able to see it, not just the back of the sign, but walk around and see the front of it too, and enjoy those trees for years to come. That concludes my report.
Any questions of councillors? Must be quite thorough. Call the questions, all in favor of the report? Carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that finance accounts have been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Check totals 24057 to 24225, 169 checks for $653,474.08. Voided checks in the current range. They're not voided checks in past ranges. Boy, do we have a lot here. Year-end cleanup. Check number 21599, Jennifer Blair, $59.17. Was stale dated. 21629, J.R. Cousins for $4,354.53. It was stale dated and reissued. 21692, Linda Pratt for $45.05. Was stale dated. 21772 for Kim Eshka, $52.68. It was stale dated and reissued. 22422 Dirty Shirt Productions for $1,575. It was stale dated and reissued. 22570 Community for $3,090. It's stale dated and reissued. 22591 Lemon Tree Florist for $868.75. Stale dated and reissued. 22610 for Steve Sobring, $31.07, still dated and reissued. 22919 Hilda Kelsey for $13.43, still dated. 22240 Daniel Duarte for $60, still dated. 22253 Ben Campbell for $12.20, still dated. And check number 23507 for Canadian Professional Management, $1,888.95. The check was canceled and the check was reversed. There was electronic payments in December of 4, mainly for payroll for $156,796.20. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Staccato. Be it resolved that council accepts this information. The unaudited financial statement before FASB adjustments for the period ending October 31st, 2018, including the general fund balance sheet and the general fund income statement, summary, utility fund balance sheet, and utility fund income statement summary, and the reserve report. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statement before FASB for the period ending November 30th, 2018, that of the general fund balance sheet and the general fund income statement, to the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income summary, and the reserve report. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. These are, I know the Director of Finance is working on the year-end financial statement, where we see no surprises, but we have to go through the previous month each time. And that, I don't know when it'll be, either next one or a meeting after. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis report for the periods ending October 31st, 2018 and November 30th, 2018. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accept as information the following engineering department staff reports for the January 14th, 2019 regular council meeting, that of the construction maintenance foreman and the building inspector. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Bellmer.
Thank you. I was looking at the construction report, and he always mentions like new house services and the various categories of work that he does. When they go in and put a new service in or they replace something, how much disturbance is there to the road? Because I know there's a lot of technology now where lines can go in and that kind of thing. So I was just curious how much wear and tear the roads are getting through the installation of new services and the repairs of them.
So if it is a full service repair, the new service has to go out, right out to the main, and we would normally replace both the water and sewer main. So depending on the locations of those mains in the street, the degree to which we disrupt the street and the boulevard and the sidewalks and stuff can vary, but the majority in the older part of the city are right in the middle of the street, so we would go to the middle of the street for a full service repair. The technologies you talk about, can be utilized specifically to replace a service connection to sanitary main. Replacing a water main or a water service is, when you have a lead service or something like that, there's really no other way other than to replace it right to the main. And if we have to dig that one up, then there's no use using any of the other technologies. We do not have the equipment, we do not have that kind of stuff to replace a sanitary service without digging. We do some of that, but it's not normally in the portion on the street. So from a person's basement out to the boulevard, we can normally avoid digging up their yard, because we will pull basically a big cone-shaped head through the old sanitary service, which creates a big tunnel for us to slide a new pipe in. So we'll try doing that to save people's yards, but to do that onto the street is not quite as easy. So we will normally end up digging up the street and replacing it all.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All the questions, all in favor of the report? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Euler, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the January 14th, 2019 of the regular council meeting, the bylaw enforcement report for December 2018. Any questions on the report? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Euler, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes of the following committee and or organizational meetings: the Intermountain Conservation District meeting minutes of November 21st, 2018, Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council meeting minutes of September 25th, October 23rd, November 27th of 2018 for Dauphin Museum meeting minutes of November 7th and December 5th, 2018, the manager's report of December 5th, 2018, and January 2nd of 2019, and the finance reports. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas the CN Railway Company gifted the city of Dauphin the parcel of land known as CN Park as part of Canada's 150 celebration in 2015. And whereas a condition of the gift required the city of Dauphin to commission a third-party appraisal of the land, whereby the appraisal is completed and the agreed amount, fair market value of the land is $125,000, and whereas due to formally accept the gift of land, the city of Dauphin is required to execute a deed of gift and issue CN donation receipt in accordance with Canada Revenue Agency regulations. And be it resolved that council accepts this information a memorandum dated January 10th, 2019 from the Deputy City Manager regarding CN Railway Company's gift of CN Park to the City of Dauphin in 2017, and indicating that all conditions of the gift have been completed and the deed of gift is required to formally accept the gift of land. And further be it resolved that council approves the recommendation from administration to execute the deed of gift and issue a donation receipt to CN in the amount of $125,000. Wow. First, that's quite, I've never heard of a deed of gift. That's the first time.
When you give gifts,
Yeah, well, I don't, when I get Yes, I don't need it, or.
Chocolates don't qualify for it.
Yes. Any questions? I'll call the questions, all in favor, motion carried. Moved by Councilors Euler, seconded by Councilors Staccato, be it resolved that pursuant to bylaw 03-2012, being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to establish a tax sale contractor position, council appoints tax service to contract tax sales for the city of Dauphin. And further be it resolved that council appoints Donna Zincu, General Manager of Tax Service, Inc., as a tax sale contractor for the city of Dauphin for the calendar year 2019. They've been doing that for many years, right? Any questions? Call the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councilor Euler, seconded by Councilor Staccato, whereas section 365, subsection 2 of the Municipal Act states that council may in any year designate the immediately preceding year or an year or an earlier year as the year in which properties, the tax sale in respect of which are in arrears for the year, must be offered for sale by auction to recover the tax arrears and costs. Be it resolved that the council designates 2017 as the tax sale year for the city of Dauphin, which will recover 2016 and prior years' arrears and costs. Any questions? Call the questions. Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Oh, and another one. Moved by Councilor Juba, seconded by Councilor Laughlin, whereas council designated 2017 as a tax sale year, and whereas properties where taxes are unpaid for the years 2016, 17, and 18 may be eligible for tax sale. Be it resolved that the designated 2017 tax sale be held on November 20th, 2019 at 10 a.m. at the City of Dauphin Council Chambers. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councilor Eilers and seconded by Councilor Staccato, whereas section 372 of the Municipal Act states that a municipality may set any terms or conditions for the sale to be sold for taxes and may set a reserve bid in the amount of the tax arrears and costs in respect of the property. Be it resolved that the designated 2017 tax sale year, council sets the reserve bid for each property eligible for tax sale at an amount equivalent to the tax arrears and costs of the property. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councilor Euler, seconded by Councilor Juba, whereas section 35(1) of the Municipal Assessment Act states that council shall each year by resolution appoint a board of revision consisting of no fewer than 3 members, some, all, or whom may be members of council. And whereas section 35(2) of the Municipal Act states that council shall appoint a member of the board appointed under subsection 1 to serve as the presiding officer of the board. And whereas section 34(5) subsection 4 of the Municipal Act states that council shall appoint a person to act as secretary of the board appointed under subsection 1. Be it resolved that the 2019 Board of Revision shall consist of all council members of the city of Dauphin, a representative of the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce, and a representative of the Community Economic Development Board. And further be it resolved that council appoints the mayor or in his stead the deputy mayor to act as chair of the board. And further be it resolved that council appoints the deputy city manager or in her stead the city manager to act as secretary of the board. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. So we're all set for the next, for the Board of Revision and et cetera, tax sales. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councilor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts this information correspondence dated January 18th, 2019 from the building inspector regarding a proposal to subdivide southwest quarter section 102519 west of the prime meridian, lots 11, 12, and 13, block 68, plan 359 DLTO, that's 701 Main Street South, for owners 65891 Manitoba Limited, and applicant Balkan and Kolchicki, care of Greg Molnar, Communities Planning Services, file number 4411-187474. Further be it resolved that council approves the subdivision application for the property as described above with the following conditions. The primary lane access is permitted. However, no extra lane maintenance or snow clearing will be provided by, as per the City of Dauphin policies. Lot surface drainage cannot adversely affect adjacent properties. It is recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with the adjacent property owners. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councilor Juba, whereas Manitoba became a party to the New West Partnership Trade Agreement effective January 1st, 2019, requiring the City of Dauphin to update the procurement provisions and the current municipal tendering and procurement policy, and whereas the revised policy updates the delegation of approvals to allow the City of Dauphin to continue to operate efficiently, be it resolved that council accepts this information. Correspondence dated January 10th, 2019 from the Deputy City Manager regarding the revisions to the updated City of Dauphin's municipal tendering and procurement policy, and further be it resolved that council approves the amended municipal tendering and procurement policy number 4.2. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councilor Eilers, seconded by Councilor Stakilo, whereas the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their breakfast education series and lunch community series for 2019. Be it resolved that council approves the purchase of tickets for councilors and mayor. Mayor should be included as more of a councilor. And senior staff to attend the 2019 Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce Breakfast Education Series and lunch community series with all costs be borne by the city. Any questions? All in favor?
Are you included in that motion now?
Pardon?
Are you included in that motion?
I hope so.
I'll sell you a ticket.
I got one for sale.
Yeah. No, but it's interesting, we attended the, well, we come up, how important it is to attend those meetings. Moved by Councilor Eiler, seconded by Councilor Staccato, whereas a demolition order was ordered on February 18th, 2014 for the derelict and unsightly building located at 26 Buchanan Avenue pursuant to Section 243, subsection 1 of the Municipal Act, and whereas the current property owners have worked with the City of Dauphin to improve the exterior condition of the building to a satisfactory state to the standards set out in the property standards bylaw, and whereas City Council has the authority to cancel a demolition pursuant to Section 244(2) of the Municipal Act, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 10th, 2019 from the Deputy City Manager indicating that the building located at 26 Buchanan Avenue is now in compliance with the property standards bylaw and a demolition order is no longer required. Further be it resolved that Council rescinds the February 18, 2014 demolition order for 26 Buchanan Avenue and thanks the property owners for their cooperation. Deputy Mayor.
A question, I noticed that in the history of that property that the services had been cut off. So is that a requirement that they be on? Like I understand the building can look good, which is one of the things that we wanted. Do the services also have to be on, or we're okay with them being off?
So when we work with derelict properties, we always want the best case scenario as the building rejuvenated and someone using it, services on, and it being used, on a daily or regular basis. Unfortunately, the Municipal Act doesn't necessarily give us the teeth to say thou shalt live in that building again. So we do make sure that the outside is up to property standards. And for the most part, most property owners are interested in having, if they go through the effort to do the outside, they want to recoup their costs, so they're either going to be living in it or have it sold or have a renter in it or something like that. So usually we are able to get the inside put together as well.
And further, I noticed that you're saying that they're thanking the property owner, and that's very nice to see. I just wanted to mention that in the our package today, we had copies of the letter that the bylaw officer sent out to people, thanking them for stepping up and helping with the issues on the property. And I thought those letters were very nicely worded, and I just wanted to thank the bylaw enforcement officer for the nice touch that she's sending out to our townspeople.
Any other questions?
I do think it's important that, we do send out a lot of letters from the city asking for this, that, or the other thing to be done with properties. It's good to give people time to say thank you.
Councilor Juba.
Thank you, George. I just noticed the timeline. The original demolition order was issued on the 18th of February of 2014, 5 years later. Is that normal for this type of time? I like to sort of stretch out between a resolution and a positive resolution.
It does depend on what's going on the property. If there is work and if there's movement on the property, then we will work with the property owner to get it back to where it needs to be. So we have demolition orders that are out probably for the same amount of time on other properties where people are working on it. However, when the demolition order goes to a demolition, it usually gets done more quickly.
Thank you.
All in favor? Motion carried. big one. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councilor Juba. Whereas the City of Dauphin worked with Vermilion Growers Ltd. With legal consultation to prepare a development agreement for the construction of their greenhouses in Dauphin. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 11th, 2019, from the city manager regarding the development agreement between the City of Dauphin and Vermilion Growers Ltd. For their greenhouse development in the northeast quarter of section 152519 west of the prime meridian, excluding the portion lying west of the Vermilion River and bound on the west by the eastern boundary of Block 22, Plan 20 DLTO in northwest quarter of section 152519 west of the prime meridian. And further be it resolved that the council accepts as information the development agreement between two parties. Further be it resolved that council authorizes the mayor and city manager to authorize and seal this development agreement on behalf of the City of Dauphin. And I'll ask the city manager to just to give a short highlight of the development agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I can't remember exactly how many pages are in the agreement, but I do know that there's over 100 clauses in it. And I highlighted for council a few of the items that are high-level items that we talk about. So we know that the development will occur in phases, the first of which is the construction of approximately 5 acres of a glass-covered greenhouse, a warehouse, water retention ponds, and landscaping. The developer has provided the city with a deposit of $5,000, which will be used towards the cost of creating the development agreement and other administrative fees. If more is required, the developer will provide more funds, but if at the end of the execution of the agreement, there are funds remaining, the city will return those funds to the developer. The developer agrees to pay for the extension of municipal services to their site, as well as the connection of their development to those municipal services. The developer agrees to have in place a minimum of $5 million liability insurance and will hold the city harmless. The developer agrees to remove all construction debris on the site and keep it in a tidy condition during construction. The developer agrees to finish the lot with appropriate landscaping as outlined in the agreement. The developer agrees to provide a performance guarantee to the City of Dauphin, which is like an insurance policy for the city, indicating that the developer will follow the terms of the development agreement. If the developer does not fulfill a commitment in the agreement, then the city may rectify the situation using the funds provided by the performance guarantee. And the development agreement is registered as a caveat on the title of the property and will be applied to the property regardless of the owner.
Thank you. Any questions of council? This has been a long time coming, and we've worked with Vermilion Growers, and they've been very cooperative, and I think we've been very cooperative in getting this project to fruition, and wish Vermilion Growers all the success, and hopefully phase 2 and 3 come along. And one thing with the new development agreement that was done by Taylor McAfee, David King of Taylor McAfee, that we have protected ourselves against and the taxpayers of Dauphin on any unforeseen circumstances. So feel very comfortable with it, and hopefully in 2019, we'll see a lot of activity out in the north end of our community. Any questions of councilors? All in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carried. I think it was 36 pages,
32, I think.
32, but yeah, I fell asleep after 16.
You're halfway there.
Moved by Councilor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, whereas the provincial government requires an official agreement between Manitoba Infrastructure and municipalities outlining the terms and obligations for the payment of costs to municipalities for maintaining provincial highways within the municipality, and further be it resolved that council accepts this information. A memorandum dated January 14th from the Director of Public Works and Operations regarding the snow removal agreement between the City of Dauphin and Manitoba Infrastructure for the continued maintenance of the provincial highways within the City of Dauphin. Further be it resolved that council accepts this information, the snow removal agreement between the two parties. Further be it resolved that council authorizes the mayor and city manager to sign and seal the snow removal agreement on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Do you have anything to add, Director of Public Works?
So in essence, past practice has been we have tracked our costs for cleaning the highways within the city and build Manitoba Infrastructure. The province decided that was not what they wanted to do anymore. So we will now be getting paid based on the amount of snowfall between November and the end of March. And there's a formula to use to calculate how much we get paid. The Director of Finance went through the numbers, so we're pretty confident that it'll basically work out to the same as it has in the past. But the fortunate thing is this is only a one-year agreement, so if it doesn't work out that way, we can hopefully get a better agreement the next time around.
So all we have to do is fill the measuring device at the airport, is that correct?
That's one way of looking at it.
Well, it's quite, sometimes quite a difference between what happens at the airport in terms of rainfall, snowfall, and in the city. How is that accounted for?
So they actually went back, I believe, 10 years and looked at the snowfall at the airport specifically, so because that's what we'll be basing the measurements from. And those were correlated to how much we actually billed for the snow clearing, and that's where that number was derived from. So they looked at what was the snowfall in the year at the airport, how much did we bill them for snow clearing here in Dolphin, and if we looked, some years we would have been made a little bit less money, but the next year we made a little bit more money. So in the end, it'll average out. Like I said, this year we may see that we might have made a little bit more money because we still will be job costing. We still will know how much it costs us to clean up the snow. And then obviously we'll look at it at the end of March and just make sure that our needs are being met. If not, next year's agreement will have to address that.
The Councilor Anders.
Okay, and the agreement, I understand, is till the end of March. We've had some awesome storms in April. What happens then?
So what MI has told us, anything outside of the agreement, it's basically just a conversation with them. Do they want us to clean up the snow? And are they going to pay for it? So and it will be again based on the per centimeter snowfall. In most cases in April, we don't do a lot of plowing anyhow because the next day is usually like the snow is melting, so it's not normally an issue. But yes, the other thing is sanding in the downtown core or around the highways as well. So that's a separate agreement, and again, it's just basically they give us the okay to go ahead and do it. So.
I noticed about the Environment Canada forecasts and all that, and what's missing on them is they used to have all the amount of rainfall and snowfall, and now they don't. Is somebody recording out there?
Yes, absolutely. The actual snowfall is recorded every day. If you look in the agreement there, they talk about a ratio of 14:1. The recorder, or the way they record snowfall at the airport, is the amount of, they basically melt the snow into water, and that's what you get, is the amount of precipitate, or the amount of water that's in the snow. So it doesn't really correspond to a true centimeter of snow. It's actually the water, how much snow they've melted in their device that measures the snowfall. That's why you see that ratio in there, because that tells us how much, that 14:1 is how much snow you would get per 1 centimeter that they're recording at the airport. So the numbers are good, the calculations are all good. We went through everything. Like I said, we don't perceive any problems, but until we try it, we really don't know. This same agreement is being signed by all other municipalities that do the same thing. We're not the only ones. The entire province has to do this, so I've seen Selkirk's, I've seen Winkler's, so they have already signed these agreements. We're not the only ones that are doing this. And like I said, it's only till March. If it doesn't work in our favor, then we go back to the drawing board.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas the City of Dauphin has been working with Manitoba Infrastructure to investigate issues with the Vermilion Reservoir, and which is a supply of water for the water treatment plant. Be it resolved, the council accepts this information. A memo dated January 9, 2019 from the Director of Public Works and Operations recommending the Manitoba Infrastructure to consider increasing the Vermilion Reservoir's containment of volume. Further, be it resolved that Council directs administration to inquire with the Honorable Ron R. Schuler, Minister of Infrastructure, and request that provincial engineers review the original dam design and determine the feasibility of increasing the storage capacity of the Vermilion Reservoir. Again, could you provide some details for?
Okay. So as everyone is aware, we had some issues with getting water from the Vermilion Reservoir, which has been our primary water source for 20-some years, since the water treatment plant went online in the 90s. That issue was looked at by the province, and Manitoba Infrastructure sent out a survey crew. They did a bathymetric survey of the entire reservoir as much as they could. They could not do probably, I believe, about the 20 meters offshore, because it was too shallow for them to work in. If you remember, we had some initial information from MI on a survey that was done in 2011. We found out that data from the second survey was erroneous, and that their benchmarks were out about 0.7 of a meter. So everything was showing that it was 0.7 of a meter higher than it should be. So they've come back and said that they've, with this change, or with the new survey, they believe that there's an additional 4,100 decameters, cubic decameters of water in there, which is in essence a year's worth of water for us. That will cover off a year's worth of water. But we also had divers go out there and have a look at the bottom, and specifically at our intakes for the pump station. And we found that those intakes are buried under about 2.5 feet of silt. We could get at them. The divers got at them quite readily because the silt was very liquid. But it remains an issue that we're going to have to address. Before we make any decisions how we want to address this, one of the things we found when we were researching this is that a comment in a letter between the city and the province that said that the dam was designed in such a way that they could actually increase the containment area of it by raising the level of the weir or the overflow for the dam. But it was only a mention in the letter. We don't have anything on the plans or anything like that that would actually say that that can be done. So what we're asking the province is, they originally designed the dam, their engineers designed and built the dam. Now can they go back and actually tell us, can they raise the level, which would give us a significant amount, like even a foot raised would give us a significant amount of water extra in that reservoir. So we want to determine that before we make any determination how we're going to fix the intake problem with the pump house. So that's our next step in this plan. Once we determine either yes or no, then we can make or start planning on a fix for the reservoir.
How far have discussions gone with the provincial engineers?
We have had no discussion with the engineers beyond them doing this survey. So they went out and their engineers were in charge of the bathymetric survey that's basically surveyed the bottom of the reservoir. So we have a new survey that shows us where the new bottom of the reservoir is. We knew that there was a fair amount of siltation from the 2011 thing. The 2011 survey actually said there was more siltation than there was. The survey that they did this year lowered the bottom of the reservoir in essence, so that we now do have more water. But like I said, when we had divers in there looking at our intakes, the intakes were buried under about 2.5 feet of silt. So without dealing with that siltation or raising our intakes or whatever the case may be, we will continue to have issues with drawing water out of there. The amount of water that's available in there, provided it refills itself on a regular basis. You look outside right now, we don't have a lot of snow, so we won't probably have a lot of meltwater. It'll probably fill, and again, it's so variable. The more water we can have in there, the greater degree of certainty that we won't run out of water. So that's what we're looking to deal with right now. And at the same time, we're dealing with Rocky Mountain National Park to get an agreement to continue to draw water out of Edwards as well. So we're just trying to cover all of our bases.
Thank you. Any other questions of council? I'll call the questions. All in favor of the report? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Loughlin, whereas each year council reviews the citizen appointments for various external committees and boards for the next term. Be it resolved that council approves the 2019 citizen appointment schedule as follows: for the City Beautification Advisory Committee, Michelle Nyquist for 3 years for reappointment. Community Band, Candace McMillan for 2 years reappointment. Dauphin Hospital Foundation, Paul Overgaard, 1 year reappointment. Dauphin Rec Services, Scott Carr, 2 years reappointment. And Luke Love for 2 years an appointment, replacing Ron Hadley's decided his work commitments were too much. And for Dauphin Public Library, Jeanette Kachkowski, 2 years of reappointment. I think we need one more for the Dauphin Public Library. If anybody has people that are interested, please let me know. Moved by council, any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carries. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stichheil, be it resolved that bylaw 10, 2018, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services be now read a second time. Any questions? All the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, be it resolved that bylaw 10/2018 being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services be now read a third time, signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. And this has to be a recorded vote. Third time. All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that bylaw 01/2019, being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and committees, therefore be now read a first time. Questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Euler, seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that bylaw 02/2019, being a bylaw to govern the organization of the city of Dauphin and the committees thereof, be now read a first time. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as invitations to the events listed below: the Manitoba Sustainable Development Turtle River Intermountain Watershed Meeting of February 5th. That's Councillor Eilers, are you planning on attending?
Yes. And it's at, I believe it starts at 1 o'clock at the renamed, forgot now, it's no longer called Lion's Den, but I believe Aspen.
Who is it?
No, it's called Aspen. I believe that's.
Really? Association of Manitoba Municipalities Elected Municipal Official Training Workshops, February 14th, 2019 in Dauphin, February 26th and 27th, and March 5th and 6th, 2019 webinars. If any councilors want to do that, just let administration know. Any questions? Motion, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Euler, seconded by Councillor Stick. Now we move to the councillor privileges, and I can't remember where I was. We go to the right wing or the left wing? So we'll start with the left wing. I know Councillor Laughlin is very prepared in his privileges, so.
Yeah, just itching to go. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A handful of items. On December the 17th, I attended the MRI grand opening at the Dauphin Hospital with a number of other councillors and the mayor. It was really cool for me to kind of see that all come to fruition, because I remember when it was announced back in the day. I was working for 730 CKDM, and it was great to see it all kind of get put together and see that area. So great to see the MRI officially opened. On that same day, I actually attended a mixer with the city and the RM. Thank you to Stephen Chakota, obviously the Dauphin Chamber, for hosting the event. It was really cool to meet councillors for the rural municipality and kind of get a really good relationship going there. On January 11th, this past Friday, this one's kind of special to me. The Dauphin Kings co-captain Riley Chambray, RBC and the Kings donated $1,000 to the 2020 Manitoba Summer Games as part of RBC's Community Ambassador Program. And we did this just before the Kings game on January the 11th. It's just something close to me. In case people don't really know, there's a little bit of background on the sponsorship and the program. The way it works is the Manitoba Junior Hockey League and RBC mostly allow each team to select a community ambassador, and this year we went with Riley Shamray, who's a co-captain and in his final junior hockey season. Most of the Kings, in fact all the Kings are key in the community and do a lot of volunteering, but Riley does a lot, and he works at one of the local businesses here in town, Parkland Sorcerer Sports. It was a pretty easy decision for him and all of us to donate the money to the Manitoba 2020 Summer Games here in Dauphin. So that was done on January the 11th before our game against Portage, which unfortunately we lost. Congratulations to the city for making Expedia's top places to visit in 2019. I thought that was really cool. And going back to the Manitoba Summer Games on December 23rd, I actually had a chance to go with Clayton Swanton and Chris Wolfenden to the bike trails and kind of see how they're developing. Things are looking great up there. It's kind of neat with all the snow. It's pretty cold. It was windy, so we didn't spend too much time out there. But definitely looking forward to seeing those get up and get complete. And I'll definitely be out there when all is said and done. And that's pretty much my report.
Councillor Staccato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. For myself, December 10th, regular council meeting, December 19th at a Dauphin neighborhood renewal meeting. Into the new year, January 7th, attended the Planning and Priorities meeting, and January 9th, we had Property Standards meeting. I also attended the meet and greet with the RM and the administration and council on December 17th, and that was a good event, and my two also thanks to Mr. Chakota for organizing that and putting it on. It's always great at putting on events like that for us. And with that ends my report. Thanks.
Councillor Adams.
Thank you. Since December 10th, where I attended City Council via the teleconference, I was in Brandon on December 10th to 11th with the IMCD rep for Manitoba Conservation District Association. There was a lot of new opportunities that are being presented for the conservation. They have now a conservation trust. They were also charting MCDA, which is basically they will now continue to have, as far as IMCD, will remain two offices, the one in Ethelbert and the one in St. Rose. There was a discussion on building soil health that was presented by Saskatchewan Farmer, and I thought this was a really good presentation because they talked about regenerative agriculture and improving soil and H2, meaning water health. They really recommended composting, so I'm hoping our composting site will be a success in our landfill. There was also a lot of success stories on improving a lot of the infrastructure in many of the districts. They also discussed about drainage licenses and changing, coming to the drainage regulations, and how they plan to streamline this whole approach, and also to make sure we protect our wetland. There was also a discussion of partnerships that they're establishing with the First Nations on watershed issues. Before, they were not involved in the discussion. And there was also a collective effort to modernize the Manitoba Conservation District. On December 13th, Communities in Bloom meeting, including budget and planning. And on December 17th, I too participated in the City and RM meet and greet. It was good to meet all the new councillors, as well as the returning councillors. And again, I would like to reinforce thank you to Stephen Chakota and the Chamber of Commerce for arranging for this January 7th Planning and Priority meeting. And on January 8th, I attended the luncheon series that was offered by the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce. And again, thanks to Stephen Chakota and all the speakers. It was wonderful. I was really impressed by the Unity presentation that was by the Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal. Mary Myers and Allison Moss, who led this. Again, it's learning skills in making artisan goods and development of business skills. So it's really good to see that they had a lot of individuals involved in this. There was the incubator business start by Carissa Ganser, and then there was an update on the bike trails by Clayton Swanton. So all of these were very informative sessions, so I really got a lot out of attending these sessions. And I just want to wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. Just live on the Vedic. And thank you.
Sir Cooper.
Thank you, Your Worship. On December the 10th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. December 17th, I attended the RM City of Dauphin Mixer at the Recreation Center. Just one full paw. I got stuck in the elevator, but I phoned the number and they got me out of there, so I was good after that. So, but it was great, as alluded to by previous councillors, to get together with the RM in a semi-casual, just to get to know the new councillors and to just get together and of course the Chakota and the Chamber were instrumental in putting that event on. So on the 18th, I was invited to attend my last Watson Arts Center board meeting, and I was treated very nicely by the incoming councillor representative, Deputy Mayor Bellemare, and the rest of the board members. And it was they had a meeting, and then we had a little Christmas get together. So I want to wish Deputy Mayor Kathy Bellemare the best of luck. She will be an outstanding representative at the Watson Arts Center as they go forward with some of their challenges that they have over there. So I wish the Watson Arts Center executive and board well, and good luck, Kathy. You do well. On the 20th, I was here at the City Hall for an airport authority meeting. As mentioned previously in the meeting, a lot of issues discussed, a lot of issues going forward. January the 7th, I attended the Planning and Priorities meeting here at City Hall. January the 8th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce luncheon as well. And right after that, I had to come right back here for a Workplace Safety and Health Committee meeting at City Hall. Some of the community events that over the Christmas season were basically based around volunteering at different events. But I did have a chance to go as a patron to the Watson Arts Center, though I want to highlight that. It was a production by Theatre and Misk. It was well put together, and kudos to the Theatre and Misk and everybody involved in that production, being as busy as some. There was people going to practices for 3 weeks solid. If they weren't singing out barbershop sing-outs, they were singing at the cantata at the United Church, or singing at the for this production. So a lot of people worked hard over the Christmas season to put a lot of Christmas events together to bring Christmas cheer to the community. So just one another event I did attend on December the 17th. I got in at the very last minute to wish Deputy Robert Sopa good luck in his upcoming passing of the baton to, if once the new election is called, he will be stepping aside as our Member of Parliament, and he represented us quite well over the last number of years, and also had a chance to visit with the new candidate and also our MLA Brad Mikuleski. So that was a good opportunity just to stop by and wish everybody well, and just keep touching bases with our elected officials. Also, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the volunteers of the RIDE program who throughout the Christmas season spent a lot of time driving people home. On New Year's Eve, they drove until about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and some of them, and so it was just incredible the amount of time spent volunteering to make sure that people got home safe. So Corey LaFontaine and anybody else that was involved in organizing the RIDE program, and Mr. Shuttleworth as well, Congratulations on making sure that our citizens got home safe over the Christmas holiday season. And yesterday I had a chance to, for a short time, I went with the Canada's National Ukrainian Festival Board of Directors, and we did some Christmas caroling, and we stopped off at a few places in the community, and they, after I left, they continued so it was really nice to spend some time doing that and spending some Christmas cheer again. And I have a little Habitat for Humanity announcement. I just wanted to say we are inviting local schools, divisions, and community groups to check out Habitat for Humanity and Genworth's The Meaning of Home contest. It is a national contest which runs from January 7th, 2019 to February the 18th, and it invites grade 4, 5, and 6 students from across Canada to submit a written poem or essay explaining what a home means to them for a chance to direct $25,000 grant to a local Habitat for Humanity build of their choice, hopefully Dauphin. We are asking groups to incorporate this into their ongoing programming. The Meaning of Home contest offers a unique and meaningful way to get students involved in a creative writing process. The goal is to teach students about the importance of giving back to the community and foster their active participation as world citizens, of which the Frontier School Division, Mountain View School Division, Turtle River School Division, Glenelg, Grass River, they're all confirmed, and they're all going to be participating in this. So we would like just to get keep putting out the word. Anna Orisco and Marianne Harvey have already taped an interview for the radio station, and they will be on the radio this week with some more information, and I can leave this with our Dauphin Herald representative if he wants this, and he can use it as well, just to help us promote it. So it's a great initiative, getting young people involved in learning about Habitat for Humanity, and I have all the information here. And anyways, just wanted to end by saying one other little note I noticed while spending time driving around the city during the Christmas season. I just want to say how well the city was decorated with lights. All sections of the community seemed to be lit up quite well, and I think it was because the weather was a little nicer this year. It was just easy to get out there and decorate decorate for Christmas. To end my report, I want to say Christos Rождається, славіть Його, числа Нового року.
And I'll start my report by saying ditto. Well done, Ron.
Thank you.
For council work, I attended the regular council meeting on the 10th, and on the 17th I attended the MRI opening as well. And of course, it's already been mentioned about the medical opportunities that brings for our citizens. I attended the Christmas reception at Robert Sopak's office. Actually, we were in front of the mall because the office couldn't contain the number of people that showed up and were, just mingling and greeting each other. It was nice to see. And then the mixer for the RM Council at the Cup, coordinated by Steve Chakota. And it was a very good opportunity to meet and have some fun with our fellow council members in the RM. On December 18th, I attended the WAC meeting that Councillor Juba mentioned, and they thanked Cheryl Nicholson for her work as their executive director. Cheryl has taken a new position at the Friendship Centre, and she will be greatly missed. And the council there is in the process of hiring a new executive director. The interviews are this week, I believe. And the council also thanked Councillor Rodney Juba for his 8 years as the council rep to this committee. So thank you again, Rodney. January 7th, Planning and Priorities meeting. January 9th, the Community Band meeting took place. And they're getting organized for some of their upcoming performances. They have one in May. I want to say things are humming along quite nicely in that committee. Oh, and they laughed at my joke. Good, thank you. And December 11th, January 8th, and the 11th, I attended meetings for the Community Foundation. And the new chairperson, Dave Wozniak, is leading some reorganization within this committee. And I'd also like to say thank you to Chuck Burton and Richard Bankirk. They both served 6-year terms, which ended at the end of December, and both people made huge contributions to the foundation and the work of the foundation, and they will be missed. So thank you for your service. Also at the Community Foundation meeting, Clayton Swanton did a presentation about the bike trails that Dauphin derailleurs are developing. And they've completed an impressive amount of work, and they have a lot of cool items too that they will be completing in the future. And I know they're doing some more fundraising, so watch for that in the future. Community events, I attended on January 8th, the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce luncheon that was mentioned already. And actually, so the Unity group was mentioned. They are having their next sale on the 25th, so 1 month after Christmas, January 25th. They will be at Fusion Credit Union, and they will have all the items that they have been crafting. And they're doing some beautiful work, and they have it for sale. And they're also promoting, they have a second intake on the Unity group. And as mentioned too, Carissa Krug presented about our incubator project. And as well, Clayton Swanton also spoke about the bike trails. And yes, I actually heard his presentation twice, but it's such a large project. It was interesting to listen twice because there's just a lot to it, and I learned something different from each of his presentations. Big day coming up on January 26th. The Ukrainian night at the King's game is happening, the Robbie Burns night at the Legion is happening, and the big band night is happening at the WAC. So I think all our viewers should promise that they will take in at least one of those events and make sure they get out and enjoy an evening out in January. And speaking of evening outs, if organizations are planning events, you're most welcome to forward those dates to City Hall, and staff will ensure that those dates get on the city calendar. And then that way everyone knows what is happening in the community, because that can help to set dates. Sometimes there's just no choice, things have to be on a certain date, but you know, that coordination is possible. And if you click on the city calendar, or on the calendar through the city website, it links to the CKDM calendar, so they're sort of one and the same. So for the city website, it's right there, it says events calendar. If you end up on the CKDM website, and by the way, I think a lot of people are checking out all the news items that Benjamin and other writers are doing. It's a really great way to keep up to date with what's happening in our community. But if you go way down to the bottom, there is a link there to click on that calendar. So good way to keep in touch about what's going on. And Councillor Juba had mentioned the Christmas lights in our community. I just like to point out my brooch that I have here, my pin, from a friend. And she said the reason why she chose that, I'm going to close up of the camera there, I'm just teasing. It reminded her of our beautiful Christmas lights, you know, that swirl. And it's not a treble clef, but a couple of people have mentioned that they think it looks like a treble clef. Yeah, it does, hey? You know, it's sparkly. And so, you know, thank you to the staff that made that selection, because I think they certainly have been a hit. And then, of course, the city staff put all those up and made sure that they're working. So much appreciated. And Councillor Juba had already said Happy New Year's. And there was a very successful Molanka at 8th Avenue on Saturday night, so lots of people were out there having fun. And I'd just like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. So 2019 is a new year, so may it be a year of opportunity and hope and good choices for all of us. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. December 10th, I attended the regular council meeting. December 13th, I attended my first DART meeting at the Friendship Center. They're currently still waiting for their funding to come through the Department of Justice so they can expand the program from the youth to offer to adults as well. December 17th, again, we attended the Robert Sopak, Brad Mikuleski, I guess the luncheon or whatever they had, the snacks at the mall there. We had some very good discussion. December 17th, as well as attended the City RM meeting, and again, thank you to Stephen Chakota for putting that on. It was some excellent conversation there as well. And then the MRI on the 17th, I attended as well, the grand opening. December 19th, as City Manager Charlotte mentioned, there our meeting that we had in regards to poverty. There are a lot of groups that are doing a lot of excellent things in the city of Dauphin, and it's nice to see they're just kind of looking at a way to formalize the group and integrate some of those services. December 19th, we went for the tour of the fire hall. The chief never offered to get in turnout gear, or we would have. Excellent work by the community and dedication. It's so nice to see, and hard to believe that's a volunteer fire department. Excellent job that they do. January 7th, attended the Planning and Priorities meeting at City Hall. January 8th, I was also there for the Chamber of Commerce lunch series. And January 9th, had the Property Standards meeting at City Hall. I found it extremely interesting. And just want to say thank you to Angela Ginnick for all the hard work she does. She's definitely doing it with passion. And thank you for her dedication and caring in her role. January 10th, the Chamber of Commerce board meeting here at City Hall. January 29th, they're attending Gilbert Plains. They're looking at expanding to a subcommittee. So if anyone is interested in attending that meeting, please let Stephen know. January 14th, today another DART meeting. Currently have 14 clients that they're servicing, youth and families. Community events. I had the Unity pop-up shop as well. Food for thought. The pizza sale, if you're interested in pizza. They're selling either $12 a pizza or 3 for $30 through the Friendship Center. You can contact them and order them, and all that money goes to Food for Thought. As well as, and I can't remember the date if anyone else remembers, Super 8 is having a supper and all the monies go to Food for Thought as well. So check that out. Then I just would like to say kudos to the Shotokan Karate Organization and Sensei Boguslavsky for his dedication. I was there to watch his group the other day, and I don't know if he's 71 or 72, but wow, is he in some awesome shape. He outlasts everyone in that room. And I know he does it for very little recognition and very little money in his pocket. So thank you for his dedication and for his sharing of his fitness and his skill level. And I also want to thank the rec services. Over the Christmas, I was able to go to Vermilion Park quite often, and thank you for the rec services who maintain the park and the trails. Very well done, very appreciative. And appreciative for all the pet owners who pick up their pet deposits along the way. Most people do. There's a few that I think we can do a little better there, but great to see. So thank you to the community for making sure our trails are kept clean. Reminder to dog owners that there is an off-leash park by the horse track if you wish to take your pet in an off-leash area. That dogs in Vermilion are to be leashed. And again, thank you to Rec Services for maintaining and all the work that they do over the holidays so that we can enjoy it. That ends my report.
Thank you very much. Councilors have been very busy, and we're starting the new year in a proper fashion by being very busy. That's great to see. Myself, I attended most of the events, so just highlight the great that we have the MRI in our community and functioning, and should generate a little bit of medical tourism to our community, and will also save a lot of people the angst of driving to Brandon or Winnipeg for an MRI. Also on the 17th, the city and RM meet and greet. I see great things happening and improving our relations with the RM, and also more also with the RM and also with Parkland councils. So I think as we move one step at a time, we should get a sense of cooperation with all communities in our region. 19th, attended the rec board. January 8th, the Chamber of Commerce luncheon. I thought that was just an amazing luncheon, and the activities that with the makers from the Unity group, and also the starting of the incubator project. It's been talked about for a long time, and it's great to see. The only way we're going to grow in Dauphin and in the parkland, there's no lithium around here as in Snow Lake, so it's one job at a time, and providing the necessary infrastructure for budding entrepreneurs is such a necessity for growth, and it's great to see the projects rolling. On the 9th, ended the 2020 signing agreement with all parties. That was the Sport Manitoba, and who else was, and our local committee. We're the local committee has got all the details outlined, and the commitment to our facilities all set up, so it's going to be a great 2020 games, and also the update on the mountain bike trails, like by early in the spring, they're going to finish the work on the mountain bike trail for the 2020 games. And then the co-op portion is available right now, so you can cross-country ski or buy yourself a fat bike and work on there. So it's a great addition to our recreational facilities in our region. And that ends my report. And Ashton, welcome back in a new year, and next meeting we'll expect a report. Okay. Thank you. And there is someplace in here. Moved by Councillor Staccato, seconded by Councillor Laughlin, be it resolved that the council committee be recessed.